What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another ranking around Dynasty Warriors, talking about the hardest Dynasty Warriors games to play in order with all the main games. So Dynasty Warriors 2 through Origins, I'm ranking them by which one is the most difficult to play. We're going to start with the bottom being the easiest, and you guys will let me know down below which games did you guys struggle with the most. Do you agree with my rankings? And for me, this is my personal opinion as of right now. It could change depending on how I play other games, but I've got a good grip on most of the games here, and I think I've got a pretty solid ranking. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into who's at the bottom. And if you guys enjoyed, definitely appreciate you guys dropping a like or sub. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Starting off at the bottom, shouldn't be no surprise. I'm sure if you guys gambled and you guys had a guess on what the bottom one was, you guys would probably all be right, and you guys are right. That's gonna be Dynasty Warriors 9. Dynasty Warriors 9 is the easiest Dynasty Warriors game from the main series because it's just brain dead easy. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. The combat system enhanced the ability to be good at the game, and then even on the hardest level, it's not even a matter of difficulty anymore. It's a matter of how long can you go before your thumbs run out of power, you know, because you're just mashing buttons at that point. You're not really doing much, and the enemies are so tanky that it just takes 20 to 30 minutes to kill them. It has nothing to do with the skill or evading them or whatever it may be. You can sit there and block them. They don't break your guard or anything. You get the easy counter. Dynasty Warriors 9 is 100% one of the easiest games overall, and from the main games, it is definitely on the bottom. Next up, coming in right after it, I guess it's number 8. There's only 9 games. So coming at number 8, we have number 8.
Come on, man. That's too easy.
Dynasty Warriors 8 is, in my opinion, one of the easiest games to play. Now, on Nightmare difficulty, I think it's what it's called, right? Nightmare or Ultimate, whatever the highest one is, it is still not that difficult. With the introduction of the OP Rage mode, you have the ability to take advantage of that. You can create weapons that'll absolutely shred enemies without even having to worry about your health or anything. Dynasty Warriors 8 is 100% among the easiest. And on top of the fact that you can get the best weapons, not on the hardest level. You can get like the level 6, I believe the level rank 6 is the highest on hard. And hard is like normal for Dynasty Warriors 8. It's not even that difficult. So obviously there's a little bit of a trend here that the modern games are much easier than, well, the games that we haven't mentioned yet. But for me, in my opinion, Dynasty Warriors 8 is one of the easier games to play because the peons don't do really anything. The officers can get annoying, but if you have, you know, your weapon switch and your Musos and your Rage, I mean, you can shred through most without much resistance, in my opinion. So Dynasty Warriors 8 coming in at the 8th position for me just feels like it's a really easy game. Going on to the next one. Next up, coming in at number 7, we have another fan favorite, which is going to be Dynasty Warriors 6. So I think due to the capabilities of the game, like the combat system, it is similar to Dynasty Warriors 9. It's streamlined, it's easy, but on the hardest level, on Chaos, you struggle a bit. It's not the easiest one to get through. It is quite the struggle. Some of the officers don't flinch anymore, and they just become a monstrous and a headache to fight, but because of Dynasty Warriors 6's ease, again, they were easing into the peons becoming fodder, the game isn't too difficult. It's really not a difficult, especially when you get characters to level 50 or close to that level, you're not going to struggle that much on the hardest level anymore. It's going to be pretty easy. I guess that can be said about all the games, but even getting up there isn't that difficult. It does have its difficult moments for sure. Chaos in Dynasty Warriors 6 can be a headache. It can be quite the struggle, but I don't think it's as bad as some of the games that haven't been mentioned yet, or at least in my opinion. So Dynasty Warriors 6 coming in towards the bottom of the list for me, and let's go ahead and talk about the next one at number 6, which is going to be Dynasty Warriors 7.
Not too bad. I mean, it should be okay.
So we've completed kind of the new era of the games, except for obviously one that we haven't talked about yet. But Dynasty Warriors 6 through 9 is like the modern-ish era. It's where the peons became fodder. Dynasty Warriors 7 follows that formula again. But for me, Dynasty Warriors 7 is a harder game than Dynasty Warriors 6 because the higher levels, they have the double bars of health, and those dudes hit hard. It's a bit of a janky game too. Some of the weapons and the way they move is hard. The hitboxes are weird. The extension blade or the rapier that's used by Yuan Chao, Liu Shan. One of, I believe it's the C3. It does like the little flippy thing. You get offline, you're dead. You get offline, you're taking damage because The hitboxes for Dynasty Warriors 7 was kind of wonky sometimes if you didn't have a big AoE weapon, if you didn't have one that swept across the screen. Those jabby, kind of smaller weapons were very tough to use. And for me, in my opinion, just because I didn't enjoy Dynasty Warriors 7 as much as the other ones, I found it to be much more difficult on the harder levels, and it was definitely a drag to get through. All right, right in the middle of the list here, this is literally number 5, smack dab in the middle, we have Dynasty Warriors Origin.
Nice.
All right, we've completed the modern games. I mean, was it expected? I hope so, because you're not beating the PS2 era when it comes to difficulty. Anyway, let's talk about Dynasty Warriors Origins. Out of all the modern games, Dynasty Warriors Origins is the hardest one to play. Now, once you get used to it, and once you have that learning curve, then the game gets much easier, and it is not as difficult to play anymore. But that learning curve, fighting Lu Bu for the first time, getting used to the parries, the evade, getting clipped from any direction if you're in a large force or you got a bunch of people around you. Like the peons aren't just peons now, you know, they have the little orange glow thing. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in Origins, and it is definitely one of the harder games to play. The ally, morale system has come back, which definitely affects the battlefield a lot. Dynasty Warriors Origins is a very tough game, and the end game levels for that game can get pretty difficult as well. But after a certain amount of time has passed and you have gotten acclimated to the way the game plays, Origins becomes kind of relatively easy, just like some of the games before it. Now, starting off the true list of the hardest Dynasty Warriors game. Let's see what you guys think. Starting off at number 4, this is the PS2 era, obviously. We haven't discussed a single game from that era yet. So the easiest out of the PS2 era, for me personally, is Dynasty Warriors 5.
Damn, that shit feel good.
Dynasty Warriors 5. Now, this was a hard choice because for Dynasty Warriors 5 on Chaos, you don't get any interim saves. So you only get one chance, and they really limit your healing. I was playing, I think, Sun Jian just to get some footage, and for Chaos mode, I was trying to find some. I could not find health. I could not find health. I ended up dying at the end as well, which means I had to start over, which I wasn't going to do because it was just for footage. But I could see Dynasty Warriors 5 being extremely difficult. The reason that it's lower than the ones I haven't mentioned yet is only because of the peon fodder difference. Now, Dynasty Warriors 5 was the game. It was still kind of that old feeling, but it was slightly making the adjustment towards peons becoming fodder. And even on Chaos, they still feel like that. They don't feel as tanky as some of the other games that we're going to talk about. So for me, that is the trade-off here. Even though the interim saves are gone and the game puts you kind of in this one-shot kind of stage, the survivability, I would argue, is a much easier, especially with the peons being not as aggressive and still relatively easy to kill, even on the hardest level. Next up, coming in at number 3, what do you guys have a guess for? What do you think is coming in with the bronze medal? For me personally, coming in for the bronze medal, Dynasty Warriors 3.
That's the good stuff.
Why? Not only because of the other stuff with the officers, the aggressive AI and all that, but the aggressive AI also extends to the peons. The bodyguards of some of the commanders were absolutely menaces, and they had health bars that were similar to the commander. These bodyguards were HP tanks, and they hit hard. They let you know that they are there. Most of them, I believe, had the long-range weapons, so they had great AoE, so you just be getting hit out of nowhere from them. They had Musos back then, so they can do tons of damage to you as well. And on top of that, you have to fight the archers and the crossbowmen that are so deadly and so dangerous, along with, of course, the named generals, the officers, and I don't know, for me, the NPCs in Dynasty Warriors 3 look among the most intimidating with that little helmet thing that they used to have. So intimidating, absolutely terrible. And you know it's going bad when your maxed out elite bodyguards are getting absolutely shredded on the hardest level. Like, you know it's getting tough. Even with a relatively maxed character, you are still going to struggle on Dynasty Warriors 3 if you venture off and try to fight the enemy by yourself. That's how difficult Dynasty Warriors 3 can get. And for me, that's why it's here at number 3. Coming in at number 2, the silver medal. You guys have your guesses? What do you guys think it is? Coming in at number 2, we have Dynasty Warriors 2.
Well, this is gonna hurt like a mother.
You want a frustrating game to play? Play Dynasty Warriors 2. Not only do you have to deal with everything that you could deal with in Dynasty Warriors 3, along with the janky movements and the, wasn't refined as well back in that day, back in that game and everything. Dynasty Warriors 2 also has the terrible concept of enemy officers get to heal every time they get knocked down. As soon as an officer feels some dirt on their neck, they are healing themselves back up so you can redo everything that you just did. It is among the hardest games to play because of that factor alone. Now, with a max character, I feel like it got a little easier. I remember doing the Zhao Yun, Lu Bu thing, and I felt he wasn't that strong. I just kind of ripped through him pretty easily, but I really trained, I like maxed out Zhao Yun's abilities and his stats in order to take out Lu Bu. But for the most part, I would say like 95% of the time you're playing Dynasty Warriors 2, if you dare to play it on the hardest level, especially on a fresh save, you will absolutely be tearing your hair out. You will be tearing your hair out. You will not want to even touch the other officers that will remotely even be close to knocking them down, because as soon as they get back up, they're going to heal. And again, the AI is just as aggressive, the bodyguards around them. Everything that makes a Dynasty Warriors playthrough frustrating is combined to the max in Dynasty Warriors 2. The crossbows, the archers, they're there as well. The Eling stage is notorious for that. Kirby has them as well, and the ships and everything. I mean, every stage is going to be a monstrous fight. You will probably be sweating by the time you're done with the stage if you play it on the hardest level, again, on a fresh save. Good luck to those who like to do that stuff. I'm going to keep my sanity, and we're going to move on to number 1. Now, coming in number 1 should be no surprise, at least for me. This game still haunts me with how difficult it can get, and that's going to be Dynasty Warriors 4.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
Dynasty Warriors 4 is among the most difficult Dynasty Warriors game. It is, in my opinion, the most difficult game and the most frustrating game out of all the games. The auto lock is going to lend itself to the difficulty of this game, along with the extremely, it seems like it was amped to the max, the aggressiveness of the AI, the peons, they're on your ass. They are fast. If you have a slow character, you're getting your ass nipped. It is not a fun time on the hardest level in Dynasty Warriors 4, depending on your character's level. I think as you get closer to the max level with some of these characters, it is a bit easier, but only a bit. It's not a game you're going to want to try and venture out on your own. If you guys have seen any of my Dynasty Warriors 4 videos where I talk about getting the weapons or the weakest things and all that stuff, you'll know the characters that are still tough to deal with, even when I have them towards some of the higher levels. Sao Ren was atrocious, and Zhang Fei and Song Jiao and all these other people that have terrible kits and they're slow and they still don't feel that strong. Dynasty Warriors 4 makes you pay for. The good thing about the top 3 though is that they all have interim saves. So that's the only saving grace, but because the peons on top of the officers are just absolutely on your ass 100% of the time, that's what makes them so difficult to play, but yet I guess so rewarding when we actually complete a stage. But yeah, shouldn't be too surprised to see the older gens taking the reins of the hardest Dynasty Warriors game. In my opinion, still I feel like they are the hardest ones to play. Even if you pick up one of the games today and play them, you are still going to struggle. The Origins and all the modern games, you pick it up, you might struggle a little bit. As soon as you get used to it a little bit, it gets easier from there. Dynasty Warriors 2 through 5, you're going to be struggling pretty hard. You got to buckle down and kind of focus in order to do well with those games. But that's all I have for the video here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know which game you guys struggle with the most. Is it Dynasty Warriors 4 for you guys? Dynasty Warriors 3? I've done tons of videos about Dynasty Warriors, so I've seen comments already that I've said like, Dynasty Warriors 3 was a struggle, or they found Dynasty Warriors 2 more difficult than other games. So let me know down below. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. And with that being said, guys, all I have, and I will see you all in the next one.